After 6 years of delays, countless trailers, and enough mystery to fuel an entire conspiracy channel, Mega Man? Capcom's PRAGMATA is finally here, and somehow it was worth the wait. This is one of the most unique AAA games I've played in years. It's part third-person shooter, part puzzle game, part emotional sci-fi adventure, and it manages to make all of those pieces work together surprisingly well. So today we're diving into everything PRAGMATA does right, where it stumbles, and whether this strange moon-based adventure deserves a spot in your game library, and, most importantly, if it's worth your time. So a couple months ago, I was going through what I like to call a gaming drought. My definition of that is when there's tons to play, but you're just kind of not vibing with anything. At least not enough to actually pull the trigger on. So I had this idea to go to the PlayStation Store at the time and download some free demos. The first one I downloaded and played was PRAGMATA, and all of a sudden, my gaming drought was cured. I absolutely adored what I played. So much so that I played through that demo 4 or 5 times. I was hooked. I thought the ideas and the images I was seeing on screen were really special at a time when a lot of games were kind of feeling a bit samey to me. So the wait was on. I counted down the days until PRAGMATA was in my hands, and man, once it was, I knew I would never let it go. PRAGMATA follows Hugh Williams, an astronaut trapped inside a lunar research facility after everything goes horribly wrong, and becomes the sole survivor of his team. Shortly after arriving, Hugh encounters D-1-0336-7, an android girl with powerful hacking abilities who he renames as Diana, and who I will be referring to as Diana also from this point on. The two quickly form an unlikely partnership as they attempt to survive a hostile AI-controlled moon base and uncover the truth behind what's really happening. And now, I don't want to spoil too much here because the relationship between Hugh and Diana is honestly the heart of the entire experience. This game is fairly new still, so find out for yourself, but honestly, the story took me to places that I didn't expect, and the emotional connection that you have between Hugh and Diana is honestly the glue of this whole game, and I really urge everyone to try it out just for that alone. What starts as, a simple survival story evolves into something much more emotional. Capcom clearly took inspiration from classic character-driven adventures, and the chemistry between these two characters carries the narrative from beginning to end. Many critics have highlighted this relationship as one of the game's strongest elements, and like I said before, I completely agree with that.
Diana?
Let's talk about what makes PRAGMATA stand out. At first glance, it looks like a standard third-person shooter, but I swear to God, it really isn't. Every enemy encounter revolves around a unique hacking mechanic. Basically, your hook as to, the gameplay of this game. Before Hugh can deal meaningful damage to these robots, Diana has to hack enemy defenses through quick puzzle-like sequences. In the beginning of the game, these hacking sequences, I'd say they're pretty straightforward. Part of me did wonder how they were going to keep this mechanic and me engaged for like 10 plus hours, but honestly, as you progress through the game, you unlock different hacking nodes to kind of start appearing on the grid that you're hacking, and this is where the hacking mechanic absolutely shines for me. You can have Diana inflict a ton of damage and side effects once you have more nodes unlocked and prepped in your arsenal. You can make enemies overheat, even turn on each other, poison them. There's a ton of options on how you can deal damage to enemies in this game with Diana's moveset as the game progresses. However, that's just half the equation. Hugh is packing a ton of heat himself with a variety of guns in this game. And just weapons in general. You start off with a basic handgun that's always your main weapon that you can upgrade over time, but then there are 3 other weapon types that have dedicated button placements on the D-pad. These range from heavy shotguns and rifle-like weapons to homing drones and stasis nets. There are a ton of weapons to unlock, upgrade, and experiment with, alongside suit upgrades that can increase your capacity on certain abilities, guns and suit functions included. Every fight kind of becomes a balancing act between shooting, dodging, resource management, and hacking all at the same time, and somehow it just works. This really is ADD the game. And what could have easily become a gimmick ends up creating one of the most engaging combat systems of the year. You're constantly asking yourself, like, which enemy should I hack first? Which weapon should I use? Do I spend resources now or save them for later? Can I complete this hack while avoiding incoming attacks? Is that Mega Man? The combat demands your attention in a way few modern shooters do. Eventually, you'll feel ballsy enough to shoot and hack at the same time, and you're taking some hits, you're missing bullets, but you're really just doing damage, and it's worth the cost of the bullets. Not that there's bullets, you know what I mean? But look, when all this works, you really do feel like you've come a long way in your adventure. And when you're not in combat, you'll be doing your fair share of platforming in Pragmata, which I enjoy. Timing far jumps with your suit's thruster capabilities, then you'll be hacking terminals to open doors as you make your way through the moon's many areas. Pragmata reminds me of a PlayStation 2 era game. It just prioritizes the gameplay before anything else. In other words, this is a video game-ass video game, and I love it. Another thing I appreciated is how focused this game feels. Like, this isn't a 100-hour open world game packed with busy work. Instead, Capcom kind of chooses to deliver a tightly designed adventure that keeps introducing new ideas throughout its pretty honestly compact campaign. The lunar facility itself is gorgeous. The graphics in this game are fantastic. You'll explore futuristic laboratories, AI-generated environments ranging from the fauna-filled Terra Dome and the dark and mysterious Luna mines. Some truly stunning sci-fi locations that showcase Capcom's RE engine at its absolute best, I gotta say. Seeing the recreated New York level on the moon was a sight to behold, and when you're not traveling the moon, you're in the shelter. A safe hub for Hugh and Diana to upgrade their gear, unlock new abilities, learn about the various enemies you encounter, you take on some VR training missions, and most importantly, you spend some time with Diana. You can engage in conversation with her, play hide and seek, but by far the most satisfying thing when it comes to Diana and the shelter is when you're giving her REMs, short for Read Earth Memories. Throughout your adventure, there are these collectibles known as REMs, which you give to Diana for her to analyze at the shelter, and that object she analyzes becomes 3D printed. Eventually, the shelter becomes full of child toys, playgrounds, a campsite, you name it. It's hugely satisfying to see it all complete. Like, just seeing her, ride the swing set, and then she kind of goes to chill by the campfire, and then there's the beach kind of stuff. Like, it was really cool and a really nice sense of progression that the game gave me that honestly I haven't seen before. Look, Pragmata absolutely nails innovative combat, fantastic character chemistry, the gorgeous visuals, the strong pacing. Never felt bored in this game. A refreshing new AAA IP that, it's in an industry full of sequels and remakes, and Pragmata feels genuinely original. And that is becoming increasingly rare, and I think it will be even more of a far and few between thing as time goes on, given the state of this industry. But look, this game's not perfect. I really do think that as much as I love the combat system in this game, the issue with it is that it might take time to click with some people. Like, early on, juggling, hacking, and shooting can feel overwhelming, and some players may even find the constant multitasking frustrating during later encounters when enemy density increases. The story is also stronger in its character moments than its larger plot, I'll be honest. The central mystery and villain aren't always as compelling as Hugh and Diana themselves. And while the campaign doesn't overstay its welcome, some late game encounters can start to feel a little bit repetitive, I will say. The story I thought was fine by the time I wrapped it up, and it did give me, a very tear-jerking moment at the end, but the overall story isn't, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't compare to the actual relationship between Hugh and Diana. You just kind of want to see how this ends and how they make it through. But yeah, look, Pragmata is one of the biggest surprises of 2026. After years of delays, I honestly expected another disappointing development disaster with this. Instead, Capcom delivered a bold, creative, sci-fi adventure with memorable characters, unique gameplay mechanics, and enough originality to stand out in this really crowded market that we're in right now. It's not flawless, like I said. The learning curve can be rough, and some story elements don't quite reach the heights of its character-driven moments. But when the hacking, shooting, and storytelling all come together, man, Pragmata becomes something special. And I think a fresh and ambitious sci-fi adventure that proves Capcom's winning streak is far from over after hits like RE9 and the Monster Hunter series. Like they cannot miss right now, and it's incredible. So yeah, what did you guys think of Pragmata? Did Capcom deliver on the hype? Did 6 years of waiting raise expectations too high? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more gaming reviews right here on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.